Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Artful Mind. I'm your host, Tasreen, and today I have with me Dr. Saurabh Mishra. He's editor at Wiley for the journal Advanced Science, Environmental Microbiology, and Environmental Microbiology Report. So today we'll be discussing about the academic publishing world that every researcher knows about, but a few truly understand inside out. With Dr. Saurabh's experience in guiding author, managing journal, I'm sure this episode is going to help the researchers with valuable tips and tricks. With this, I welcome you, Dr. Saurabh Mishra. How are you?
Thank you so much for inviting me for this very informative uh, podcast, and it will surely be a very much informative to all our viewers, and it will definitely help them for making a good publication in the field of academics, and also they will contribute good articles to the society through Wiley. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for joining me today. So let us start with your journey at Wiley since the time you have joined, about your experience and how this publishing process goes on.
Yes, so I am actually working with the three different journals, as you mentioned in the beginning itself, that is Advanced Science and Environmental Microbiology and Environmental Microbiology Reports. So these three journals, I started working recently. I would say back 4 months back, and uh, if you consider these three journals, the Advanced Science is tier 1 category journal, which has an impact factor of 14.3. Then Environmental Microbiology is a tier 3 category journal, and Environmental Microbiology Reports is a T4 category, or you can say it's a sound science journal. So I am actually handling the environmental aspects of uh, uh, these journals. So whatever the environmental related papers are submitted in these journals, I do the evaluation of those papers and process them if they are uh, aligned within the requirements of these journals. So and this is all about me, and which I have started recently with the Wiley. Yeah.
So we, as a researcher, we know how we submit our paper, right? And then we submit button is done. Then we don't know what is happening at the back end. So once we
Definitely.
submit the button, then it goes to you. So can you just describe the process? What is all
Yes.
about how
So
things
it's
work?
not directly coming to the evaluation editors. It first goes through the screening process, whether this paper has been submitted properly or not, whether all files are properly submitted, PDF was developed or not. Then uh, requirements are there. That is the pre-screening phase where the editorial assistants they check out the proper submission of the manuscripts. Once the screening process is done, then we are assigned to evaluate those uh, manuscripts, and then we start evaluating based on means we do check from the uh, beginning of the manuscript, that is from especially the cover letters, titles, abstracts, and other parts of the manuscripts. So our task is to evaluate the manuscripts, that whether it fits to the journal or not, and then we process those manuscripts. If we consider that those manuscripts are uh, means following the aspects of the journal, then we process them for subject expert to get their reviews, get their report, and based on the review reports and our subjective expertise, we consider the papers for acceptance. So from the assignment of the manuscript to the acceptance of the manuscript is our task. And then we process those accepted manuscripts to the production team, and the final production of the manuscript is performed. So our task is to evaluate the manuscript on the subjective ground as a subject expert.
Okay, and mostly what kind of quality check do you go for? Because in environment, if we talk, it is a broad area, right? So
Yes.
uh, different topics
Basically,
will come.
some basic things are there, like uh, the basic first thing that we check is the from where this paper is coming, whether that institution or the country or the region is sanctioned or not. You might have heard about that. A lot of the regions in the world are sanctioned by the US and different other European countries and all. So, like Russia, Cuba. Uh, Yes. So the some of the Middle East other countries, so Syria and all. So first we check from where this paper is coming, and then we check the similarity, which is actually produced by the uh, during the screening period, and we are provided with the report, and we can also generate the report. So we check whether the how much the similarity is there in the text, whether the paper is genuinely written by the author or not, or it is AI based paper. So all these things we first check, and then we perform the ethical checks, especially in bio-related papers, like some toxicity assessment in animals or humans. Or in those cases, we have some ethical points that we need to check out, whether the ethical approval was taken by the author from the authority or not. Approval numbers are there in the manuscript mentioned or not. All these things we perform. Then the methodological section, whether it is mentioned properly, statistics and whatever they have used has been well written or not. All these things we primarily check. And then we perform the novelty checks. Especially in novelty, we check in tier 1 and tier 2, tier 3 category journals. But in some of the journals like Sound Science, you can consider in academia, we call it Q4 category journals. So in those journals, we do not generally see the novelty. We only focus to see whether the paper has been sound science or not, whether whatever the methodology or result or introduction or abstract, whatever the section they have written is in proper format, in sequence. If it is there, then we consider that paper, because those papers are generally we publish as a report, or you can say as an additional submission to the ongoing research area. So those papers are published in those category journals. But especially in T1 and T2, T3 categories, we do judge the novelty based on the label of the journal. And then we perform our evaluation, subjective evaluation, uh, whether the paper, what the content the paper is trying to address, what the subject area it is trying to address, mm, whether that will be helpful for the society or not. So all these things we generally check. We do evaluation first, and then if we consider that those papers can be processed for uh, the peer review process, then we definitely go for peer review and seek the invitation. We invite the subject experts to seek their review reports. So once we get the review reports from them, then again we do the evaluation of their reports and our own evaluation of the paper. So based on all those reports and subjective evaluation, we further take the decision whether to process that manuscript for acceptance or to send it back to the authors for means improvement of the article. So these all are the tasks that we do perform. So depending on the journals, if you consider like T1 category, which is in which I'm having that advanced science category journal. So in those categories, generally we consider the above 10 impact factor journals as a T1 category journals. So in these category journals, we rigorously check the novelty of the paper. And in these categories, uh, uh, the acceptance rate is very low. And just it is not because we are rejecting too much, just because we are not getting the new research directions in the paper. So, because in these journals, our first motive is to check whether the study which has been presented in the paper is giving a new research direction or not. And if it is a novel discovery or novel technology with good efficiency, or even like environmental chemical engineering, if it is a novel material and giving and the processing is also novel, and efficiency is also good. So in all those cases, we do consider those papers in that tier 1 category journals. In tier 2 and tier 3 category journals, we generally see the papers with having some additional increment in the existing ongoing research, existing subject area. So those researches which are ongoing. In those researches, if something incremental study, novel increment has been done, so we do consider those papers in T2 and T3 categories. But for T1 category, should have a new research direction. That is our first priority. It should focus on giving a new research direction, and it should be means it should be fully novel, right? Novelty is considered in T2, T3 category, but we do consider the novelty in the existing areas of research also. Like for example, if you are considering the wastewater treatment and the microbe is also known for degrading the pollutant, but you found something new pathway, biodegradation pathway during the processing. So that will also be considered as a novel, but those papers will be considered in T2 and T3 category journal, depending on the quality of the paper. But in T3, sorry, T1 category, Tier 1 category, above 10 impact, the microbes should also be novel. The process should also be novel. The efficiency should also be highly enhanced, right? So everything should be new. The technology, whatever you are designing, that should be a new one, should give a new research direction to the society. Then we have the sound science journals in which the routine works are published. Suppose someone is doing the river monitoring, so we know what the monitoring methodology is there, so everyone has to follow those methodologies, but the time period is different, and the work is genuinely or you can say properly written. So it is a sound science. So we consider those paper as a report, and we do publish those papers in the sound science category journals like Environmental Microbiology Report.
So the journal name that has a report at the end, usually this kind of journal, right? Like
Yes.
bioresources report, I
If,
think.
no, general like environmental microbiology reports, we are considering mostly the report type of paper, like routine works that are coming in, and but it should have a proper write up. It should sound like a science. Science should be there and well written.
Usually they do not have impact factor also, right? The
Yes.
reports.
So these impact factors are based on the whatever the citations those papers are getting, a number of publications that we are making. So that matrix is different. The impact factor can be four also, can be five also, but because those journals are specifically for publishing the routine works, so it doesn't matter what the impact factor is. We do consider those routine works in those journals. So you can see that in those journals, the acceptance rate is also very high, 50%, 60%, 70% acceptance rate is there. But when you consider these tier 1 and tier 2, tier 3 category journals, their acceptance rate is like 10%,
Mhm.
11%, 8%. Like this, they have the exam because we specifically focus on the novelty of the papers. But in sound science journals, we do not see the novelty. We do not focus on checking the novelty. We focus mainly on checking the write-up of the paper, whether it is well written, every data has been well interpreted, discussed, well supported with the literature or not. Methodology is well written, abstract is properly um, written, and it should means show what the study is about. Then we do consider those papers in sound science category journals.
So it's like adding data to the world scientific
Yes, yes, yes,
database kind of
yes.
thing, right?
So sound science journals are for adding the additional report to the existing ongoing studies.
Also, I had this question since I was in my PhD that when we add suggested reviewer, we also add opposed reviewer. So, how editors look at those opposed reviewer? Do they send to them, or it's just to for what purpose they
No,
ask for those?
definitely, no, definitely. If the author has opposed someone, then we also respect the opinion of the author, and we do not invite those reviewers. But in case of suggested reviewers, we generally avoid taking those reviewers sometimes because uh, means sometimes the author uh, because it's their own paper, so they try to get their favor for the paper, so they submit their known person's name as a reviewer. So there may be the chance of conflict of interest between the authors and the reviewers. So to avoid these conflict of interest and give a fair review report to the author, we invite the reviewers as from our own side, and we do also have many subject experts. Uh, in the advisory boards also of the journals, so we do seek the reports from them, but we definitely respect the opinions of whatever the suggestions they give, means the authors give for the reviewers. Definitely.
And do you send to the suggested reviewer?
It depends whether there is a conflict of interest or not. Generally, we avoid because it is a common practice of the authors that they give the names of their known persons with whom they have the relationship. So we avoid inviting those people because sometimes they may have some biased reports. So in that case, it will not have a genuine research. If there is any flaw in the report, that may be missed out. So in that case, we do that may be the case of conflict of interest between the authors and reviewers. So we avoid. But if sometimes we also see that the suggested reviewers are really genuine and some authors really appreciate the research integrity, and they supply definite genuine reviewers with whom they do not have a conflict of interest. So definitely in those cases, we may consider. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me ask. Now, AI is being used so extensively, but the report percentage is not mentioned. Like, how much is acceptable? Is there any guideline for you for
Yes,
AI?
actually, because AI is also still on means it's a recent concern for these days for all our public publishing societies also. So the publications are also slowly developing their softwares to detect the AI written papers, AI-driven data also. So we do have some advanced tools also because AI is also a tool. So we are also developing means all the publishing societies have their own tools to detect the AI in the papers. Other than that, we are also means given timely the updates about the different mm, AI misconducts that are being done by the you can say some nuisance or people. So those reports are accumulated and then those are uh, asked to the means they are supplied to the editors and we are aware about all those things. So how to judge those papers and how to find out whether the paper has some AI content or not. Generally, our softwares are there, which definitely they detect the AI content. But if they couldn't, because sometimes they also miss some content. So in those cases, uh, we as a subject expert have those uh, trainings to find out whether that content is can be written by the author or is AI generated. So that is why we look into details of the manuscript and do our own evaluation.
Okay, talking about image generation, like, is it accepted? Suppose idea is yours, you know what will be there in the image, but you are generating using AI tool. So in that case, also will it be accepted, or what
See,
kind of thing will be
there
there?
are two things are there. If you are using AI as a means tool or for uh, modeling tool, or you can say and but you are more means operating that system and modeling your own data. So that will be like a machine learning papers, right? So that can be considered just like using a software for analyzing the data. But if you are generating the whole paper right up, whole figures from the AI, then it is not acceptable.
No, no, I'm
If you
talking
are
about like
using
making graphical abstract. Suppose you have written the
no,
paper, you know what
no,
will be there.
no figures, no write up we consider from AI generated things. Yeah. Do not entertain the AI generated graphical abstract or figures or even the text also. So we always ask the authors to write of their own and make the figures of their own. Software based figures like modeling softwares are there like ArcGIS, SPSS, and all those whatever the data analysis softwares generated figures are there. That we also know during our research time also we have done all those things. So those are all obvious practices and we do consider those. But the AI generate like graphical abstract made from the AI, definitely it will have something to show which a human can't make, right? So in that cases, we do not consider those papers.
Okay, like based on the Q1, Q2 paper, like can you tell what kind of common mistake that authors do? Because the mistake level of a Q1 journal and Q2, Q4 will be different, right?
Yeah,
And how
definitely.
you can avoid them.
First of all, if you are focusing to publish in a Q1 category journals like advanced science, uh, the first thing is that novelty of the material process and application should be there. First thing. Then when you are starting the write-up, write it off your own, and whatever the data you are analyzing, it should be properly interpreted. Whole methodology should be there. It can be concisely written. You can see the level of uh, the English language that is published in those journals. So, to that level of write up, it should be there. The common mistake that we generally see, and sometimes we avoid also, if the paper is genuinely good, then we do send back those papers to the author to improve. But we generally uh, reject if it is having the similarity from lower impact journals and showing some high resemblance. Then, in case of bio papers, if there is no ethical approval number mentioned in the papers, so even if you have written it properly, your novelty is there, we do not consider those paper immediately. We will definitely send it back if we think that our means this can be a good addition, a good research direction. Otherwise, we do reject those papers from the tier one category journals. So the basic things are this: the similar. If you are targeting a good category journal, the similarity should not be from the lower category journals. It should also match to those category level of journals, so that we can also feel that you are especially focusing to publish a new research direction. So if you are having the similarities in the abstract and introduction and all those different sections of the paper from lower category journals, then definitely it will show that it is a existing research area and you are just trying to fragment means manipulate the things to make it a novel. So in those cases, we do not consider these things. So basically, in T1 category journals, the novelty is very important that we see. And in the two different type of novelties I mentioned you earlier, those things are the major things that we consider in these qualitative journals. And if the paper is having some problem also, we try to get those papers improved. We do give our editorial suggestions to improve those articles. So it's not like we will immediately reject just because the paper has some error or some typological problem. So we do not reject those papers like that.
Mhm. And also talking about reference. So for a original paper, usually what is the good number?
See, for review articles, definitely it depends on from journal to journal how much the word content count or page number they have in the author's guideline. But in again the for research articles, definitely it depends on what the content you are focusing. So if it is a new research direction, definitely you will not get much literature support. So definitely the reference list is going to be low. So 20, 30 number of references, if it is there in the research article, that is also sufficient, because mostly you are going to support it in the introduction and discussion part, not much. Then considering the but the one more important point in the T1 category journal is that the reference list should be updated. Should not be like you are providing the um, reference list from 10 years old back citation. So that we do not because if that field is existing, you are taking the reference from those papers, then definitely it is not a novel research direction. So we do not consider. Even after that, also these things we generally consider, but even then after we do check the what the statement of novelty is there, whether that is a genuinely novelty or not. Because sometimes if the research has been research was conducted past 20 years back, but something is there, and then the new research direction you got, that may be the new discovery or something. So in those cases, it's all the means you can say the experience of the editor, how he is taking uh, novelty, how he is checking the novelty, whether he is considering that paper genuine for that journal or not. So it's not about the content mostly, it is about the novelty. Yeah, content should be written in the proper format. It should sound science, but novelty should be there.
But for original something, suppose language, etc. So we will prefer to cite the original paper, right?
Yes.
Like it's like 1928 something or 1978. I don't remember. So it will be
Uh,
that in that case we can add, right, those original
Yes,
paper.
yes. One or two papers. If you see, if you have found something novel from those papers and making a new research direction, so that's two, three papers can be considered because you have found something new research direction from those papers. But rest other papers should give that whether for processing, definitely you are going to have recent years articles to support out. So definitely not means it is very limited. We do consider the recent years papers in the reference list.
So we can consider like only 5 years maximum, right? 5 years old paper.
5 to 10 years, not
Like, okay.
maximum should be within the 5 years.
Mm, right. And in case of
Recent years.
review paper, so there will be no limit or like 150 to 200 usually, right?
Yes, it depends on what type of review article it is. If it is a comprehensive review article, you can increase the number to 150 also, 100 to 150 also. That is also more than sufficient. And if you are writing a critical review article, it depends on the journals, what is their word count. So depending on you can like some journals have review for papers for 8,000 words, some have 10,000 words limitations. In those cases, maximum is 100
Mhm.
that can be considered. But see, at the end, we see the content, what the content is written in the paper. It's not about the reference list. We do consider the updated reference list, but that is an additional aspect. It's not about the it's an additional aspect for consideration, but it is not the actual consent for consideration. Uh,
No, if the references are more, then content will also be more in case of review paper, right? Like we will
If
cite.
someone has cited more than 200, 300 references, we will not consider. That will come under the thesis category, right? So definitely we will not consider. Means review article, if the author is writing critically, maximum 100 to 150 is more than sufficient.
Okay. Yes. And this short communication, so how do you evaluate? Because they are very like short, right? 2, 3 pages also people conclude the whole thing. So is it difficult to evaluate those kind of paper?
Yeah, definitely. We for short communication that you also depends on which level of journal you have submitted. So if it is submitted in T1 category journals, so we go word by word for those papers. It takes a lot of time because those short communication or perspective type of papers, they are just a short write up. So in those cases, we precisely check the content, right? So in those cases, if you are having 5 to 10 references, that is more than sufficient because uh, uh, more than these number of references, it will be like a review article, right? So we do consider, but it depends. For the evaluation differs from papers to papers, and also the type of paper what we are getting.
Usually, what kind of work people go for writing a short communication?
Or what? Can you
What
provide?
kind of work like people usually write for the short communication? Any specific topic or area where it's
Yeah, well, the short communication, it can be that based on, means if you are writing focusing on technology also. Title you can decide, the authors can decide of their own, right? But also we see the experience of the authors, right? It is also there in the guideline that we do consider the perspective and short communication from the experienced authors, right? So because if you are a genuine, means a new author, first you have to learn how to do the research, then you have to learn how to write the review articles, then at the end you will be able to write the perspective and short communications. So we do consider the experience of the authors in that case also. But at the end, genuinely, first we check the content of the article, whether that is content is novel actually or not, and whether it is giving a new addition in the study or not. So these things we generally consider.
okay. Okay, let me ask you one kind of review that bibliometric review. So the
Yeah.
trend was quite high in the last 5 years, but now I have seen that the acceptance of review, this kind of review, is not that much high. So, what is your take on that?
See, bibliographic reviews are considered, but generally, it depends on the label of the journal and the type of research, type of content in the article. So, bibliographic reviews are generally considered as a report. So, we publish mostly in the uh, T2 and T3 category journals if it is having some novelities. In T1 category, generally it will be very rigorous evaluation for bibliographic reviews, and generally we avoid also because of sometimes it can be, it depends on the content, but bibliographic is just like a report. So in those cases, novelty, or you can say even in the review content, and if it is not giving a new recommendation, a new research direction, so we do not consider those papers. So bibliographic mostly you can see in the T2 and T3 category journals, mostly.
Yeah, because I also got comments for a bibliometry review paper. Because
Yeah.
ultimately, it's, there is no novelty, just we are compiling the data and see the
Yes.
trend over the
Yes.
years.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I think we are at the end of the podcast. So, would you like to add anything to the researchers about this publishing process? And
Yeah, definitely. I would appreciate if the people are submitting good research content to the Wiley, because we have uh, advanced portfolio where we actually publish the advanced research. So whatever the advanced titled journal you will see in the Wileys, we have the good content there, and we genuinely focus to supply ethical and good research to the society. And other than that, for writing purpose, I would suggest the authors to avoid using AI, avoid using the shortcuts to write the papers. Uh, do some writing work so that you can have some experience of research, how to write the articles and what. See, when you write the articles, you will come to know what, in which section what content should be there and how the paragraph should be aligned. Then slowly, it's a slow development process, so it's not a one day process that you will learn the paper writing. So uh, slowly you will learn, and focus on as much as you can write. Then whatever you have done in the research, that genuine research should be written as such in the paper. It should not have a manipulation in the content. It should not have a copy paste things in there. So we will immediately reject those articles. So because we also here are sitting as a subject expert just to evaluate those papers. So our responsibility is more to, because we have to give a research direction to the academia. Whatever the journals publish, that gives a research direction, a new idea to the academic people to perform the research. So our task is also very means good one, I would say. So we also like to give always the new research direction and new publications. So in that case, for the learners or researchers, I would suggest write as much as you can before submission and learn and submit good papers.
Okay, okay. One famous joke that I want to share, that we say, right, that you, for open access journal, that we pay to publish the paper. Then again, as a reader, you pay to read the paper. So as
Oh.
an editor, what will be your
This definitely is a thought in the academia that
right?
open access journals publish anything if you pay them. So
Mm.
if you see the advanced science and environmental microbiology report, these two are different category journals. Advanced science is also open access, and environmental microbiology reports is also open access. So in advanced science, you will see our acceptance rate is only 13%, 13 to 18%.
Okay.
So we are not publishing anything just for the money. We are focused to provide the ethical science to the community. So open access is facilitated to the authors to give more and more viewers for their papers. If you are publishing in the open access, it will be easy for the people to get your papers downloaded and cited. But if you are going for subscription and all, in that cases, those institutions which do not have the subscription, in that cases, your paper may not get downloaded easily, right? So your reach will increases in case of open access, and your reach is restricted in case of subscription journals. So this is not about the means compromising the ethics of the journal or research integrity. Uh, Whatever the level of the journal is, we consider that and we publish according to the policy of the journal. It is not that because you are paying, then definitely we will publish. It is not like that. You are paying for your own. You are paying to make your paper, make your research to a bigger
Yeah,
audience, bigger viewers,
audience.
right? Yeah, bigger. You are exposing your paper to large viewers. that open access option is just for that. It is not going to have any influence on the journal. If those journals are open access, it means that those journals are giving more uh, exposure to your papers, more viewers to your papers, right? So this is something different that we actually consider while evaluating the paper. We do not consider paper just because whatever you see, even if you have paid, your paper can be rejected if it is having some problems, right? So it is not the guarantee that you are paying that your paper will be published. So don't consider the open access as a means dependent journal, right? It is a platform to facilitate the researchers to reach larger viewers. That's it.
Mm. Okay, totally agree. Okay, I think we are at the end of the podcast. So thank you so much, Dr. Saurabh, for taking your time out and sharing your perspective with our audience and to our listener. Whether you are writing your first paper or maybe revising your 20th paper, I hope this episode will help you to see the publication journey not as a challenge but as an opportunity to share your science with the world. So thank you so much, Dr. Saurav, once again. Thank you so much.